natuurlijk benieuwd wat haar in Suriname brengt. Welkom in Magazine 4.
Thank
I
you.
was just telling the viewers that you're from Nigeria and you're in Suriname, and we were wondering what brought you to Suriname. What brought you in Suriname in the first place?
Thank you very much. I was invited to Suriname by the VHP party.
The conference was Saturday.
That's right.
Vision 2030.
That's right.
You had a part to play.
That's right.
What do you think of the initiative taken by a party in opposition?
My message was to actually ask the people there, the governing party, the members of the opposition, etc., to start to think more creatively as to what Suriname should look like by 2030, given the major global challenges and the major global opportunities. I brought the voice of the notion of South-South Development Cooperation, which is a more horizontal way of learning rather than vertical, which is the North-South development paradigm. And we laid out examples of countries that have, quote unquote, achieved, I wouldn't say developed country status, but have gone great strides in their development: China, India, Brazil, South Africa. These are different models from different southern countries using the model of South-South cooperation. And I talked about the South-South Energy Initiative that I'm promoting. I gave that as an example. This is how your country can learn the best from your neighbors and your fellow southern citizens that are marching forward.
Do you think that the people just listened at it, or do you think that there was air for it and they understood where you were coming from?
I think that there was an air from it. If I judged by the questions afterwards, by the feedback afterwards, both to me as an individual and also in terms of the evaluations that Dr. Raghabar Singh shared with me after the meeting. I think there's a really, what I've been struck by on my return to Suriname is that there is almost a national drive and angst to get it right. You now have oil and natural gas, you have gold, you have bauxite, you have other minerals. You are truly blessed. You have natural resources, you have trees, you have forests. My goodness, the time is now. And I think that there's a general sense that they want to learn from others. So that was why I was here. They want to learn the international experience and they actually want to do something about it. And that, for the opposition and also for the governing party, to allow both sides to have the space is excellent. You don't find that often, huh?
The second part of your visit, of course, you spoke about it in your presentation. Energy.
That's right.
I mean, people say energy is getting scarce in the world. I mean, it's getting more difficult to generate. You're talking about energy. What is your vision on energy?
Well, I'm focusing on a particular dimension of energy, which is the non-renewable side of obviously fossil fuels, which, while there are issues around the environment and environmental protection, which we're very aware of, we know that they are here to stay and they have to be part of the energy mix. Most of the countries in the South that have developed miraculously this resource will have to put it to use to generate the income to meet the development goals and challenges of their societies, which will include expanding the energy mix. And that is the same for Suriname. So essentially, if I put it briefly, our organization, this is the Special Unit for South-South Cooperation, it brought all the emerging southern gas producers, oil and gas, together with the traditional. So traditional will be Nigeria, Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, Indonesia. These are traditional, Trinidad and Tobago. Brought them together to discuss the key challenges of bringing these industries to rise to avoid the curse of oil. The thing they wanted most was institutional building and capacity building, and they asked us to explore ways in doing that. And we've come to the place where we have established a program, and it will be an oil and gas forum for the Global South to own, operate, develop, and manage their resource for this generation and beyond. And Suriname played a pivotal role. They came to the conference in 2009. At the time, they made a major contribution to our efforts because they were very convinced that it could work. So we came back to appraise them of the situation and to meet with key officials in the Ministry of Natural Resources, Ssei, EBS, which is a power generation company, to talk about a re-engagement, which they're very, very keen on, and to look at if, for example, Suriname would wish to continue its collaboration and contribution, and if they would even like to consider or think about hosting such an institution in their borders. We also have a very close relationship with OPEC, because OPEC sees very much the value. OPEC only has 12. We, as the South, are bringing at the moment 32 emerging oil and gas producers.
Okay.
That puts aside, not counting the traditional. So the global South is a much broader picture than the 12 that OPEC brings to the table.
Although OPEC are those guys are the big guys.
Well, you may say they're the big guys, but I think that they're the big guys, but if you look at how their history and their mission evolved, it's very much, and it was necessary in the 70s and in the 20th century as a whole, to have a place to control the price and to help the governments of those countries where there was on oil and gas take ownership of it, because the international oil companies were not easy to deal with and there weren't the capacities. In the 21st century, we have the market price set up. We understand that. What we need to understand is how to make this resource work so it does not become a curse. There's no reason in the 21st century, the second decade, that oil and gas should be a curse for any country that has it. And we very much focus, and the mission of this institution that's being built is to look at oil for development, and development that does not have the north-south top-down approach, but a development that learns, the South is learning from each other. Yes.
You met with some officials. You said ABS starts only, Ministry of Natural Resources. What was the response, and where do we take it from here?
And we also met with the President's office, with Mrs. Narendorf. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and we are leaving tomorrow with very strong assurances that they will be taking this to the highest level, probably including the President's office himself, to look at Suriname's current contribution, because Suriname is at a crossroads. This meeting that we had on Saturday is not happening by accident. They want to come into the midst. They understand the value of South-South cooperation. They want to be in the middle and learning from other southern countries and southern partners. Remember, oil has a strong commercial dimension to it. So they are very keen. They will look at it. What we have left them with is we want a commitment in writing that they want to move forward with this program, and they would like to make a significant contribution to the operating costs, the startup costs of the institution itself.
That's nice. That's taken like the country not alone, but of course the other countries who are contributing.
Oh yes,
it's taken them to another level.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I mean, I think we have very strong supporters in Ghana who've made it very clear, and they always say it rather simply. In Africa, there's no shortage of development partners, particularly from the north, coming to explain this and explain that. And in the case of Ghana, which is considered a very robust and sensible country, well-governed, there are a number of donors that want to come there. And the advisor to the Minister of Energy said, you know what, why we like this program, we want to go and learn from Malaysia. We don't want anybody to broker that for us, per se. We want to go ourselves, we want to learn from Malaysia. We want to learn from people that look just like us. They have the same kind of problems like we do. They have the same kind of challenges. And when we explain the challenges of the place where the oil is located, they get it. And there's no judgment.
We look forward into you coming back to Suriname to finalize this